Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome back to Success Secrets Revealed with your host Ronald Couming. As you can see, we are blessed to have with us Reid, and he's tremendous. He's author of 100+ books, keynote speaker, founder of Secret Knock, and we'll get back to Greg in a second. I just wanted to first tell you a little bit about how Success Secrets Revealed got created. I have a radio show with approximately 1.7 million reach weekly, but because of COVID, they basically stopped manning the station. I have just found so much, I've been so gratified in being able to contribute and give to people by doing interviews over the last 4 years. Now, those interviews were being played as reruns, and that was great. But with everything that's going on with COVID now, I felt that, I wanted to bring on people so we could talk about what's happening now and still pivot. And then I'm taking the audio and sending it to the radio station. So these are still going to get played to those people, the 1.7 million roughly, in turn. I don't know, it might be 2 months from now, but we get to do the lives now, share it through social media, so people can learn now some of the things that can help them get through this. And some of these are time tested, so it's not about this pandemic or what's happening now. It will help you, period, both your business and your personal life. I know I have tremendously benefited from some of these things, and especially a couple of Greg's books that we'll talk about in a minute. No guest gets paid to be on this show. Nobody pays to be on the show. Nobody gets paid to be on the show. Everybody's on the show just to give back. I don't get paid to be on the show. I just have one sponsor, which is my company that covers everything. And we basically take whatever your product and service is and solution, and we get it in front of your target audience. If you're ranking for your name or your business name, I'm here to tell you it doesn't matter. No one is searching for those things. If they are, they're going to pick up the phone and call you. What they're searching for is a solution to their problem, the product, the service, or the solution. That's what you need to rank for. That's what we do. We get you ranked for your solution, service, or your product, so people can find you, consider you, and possibly hire you. Now we got, as I mentioned earlier, we got Reid with us, Dr. Reid with us. One of my favorite books. I have a couple of favorite books, and one of, obviously, Think and Grow Rich, but one of my favorite books for me personally that I've had so many aha moments and epiphanies was is 3 Feet from Gold, and also Stickability, because how often do people get into something or they don't get into something for whatever reason, and then they fall off when the first sign of trouble or something comes through. So, and then also just the ideas, and we'll get into that in a minute. But Greg's been authored. Greg, you've been in over 100 books, am I correct, in 45 different languages?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy for a guy who can't really read very good, and I'm dyslexic, can't spell. Play me words with, you'll win every single time. So yeah, I've been now published books, and that means, look, I either did an endorsement, I wrote forward, and afterwards I was interviewed a chapter, I wrote, I told something of this nature. My thoughts were published in a book.
I love it. And I love the I think it was 3 Feet from Gold, that you had the manuscript that you put together, that when you gave it to Sharon Lechter. The other day I was watching you were doing a live interview about the whole Napoleon Hill thing, and also the mastermind course that you guys are now offering. But you actually had that manuscript. And you showed it, and it was like, I could only imagine. But so she works wonders, can you imagine, sitting at her big table, what she has started with, right? And then, what's come from it, right? And we can give many examples of her success stories. But yeah, but I loved it, how you just started with that. And that whole, can you tell us a little bit more about the beginnings of that whole thing, 3 Feet from Gold, and anything else you want to start off with? Yeah,
so first, it's good to see you, Ron. I mean, you and I have been buddies for years and years. I always think of you and I as like brothers, because we've had a couple squabbles, and we go, toe to toe, and then we always come out of it. And it's really cool because along this journey, a lot of people pop up, but you've been one of the guys that stood the test of time. So I applaud you, man. You're rocking, and I think it's amazing. So to answer your question, you're more than welcome, man. And so
I don't remember ever having a squabble with you.
Oh, come on. I don't remember having one around our dressing stuff. And it was really interesting looking back with this whole 12-year journey with the 3 Feet from Gold. you know, it was a quest, as you probably know from Don Green, you know, gosh, about 13, 14 years, whatever ago, Don Green gave me an opportunity to write a book called 3 Feet from Gold. And I started this journey interviewing these amazing people about not quitting. Publisher turned me down. They kept saying, "Who are you to try to do Napoleon Hill stuff?" And by the way, I'm on their side. And then finally I called Don and, "What do I do?" And he says, "Look, you need to team up with Sharon." And did an introduction, and then she came on board and really breathed life into it and made it what it is today. And all the publishers that were turning me down stood in line trying to do this deal. And ultimately, her and I had an appointment with the guys who founded Barnes and Noble, and we sat down and did the first ever JV deal where they published that book to their sister company, and we did a joint venture publishing agreement, first time ever, and that's what I think it had the groundswell it did.
I love it, and for me, I mean, the history of that book is amazing, and it's like you got the letter, you got the openings, and other people have, you know, back with the whole Napoleon Hill story, how that all started. How I think they said, like, what was it, 200 or 20 people went in, and only one person actually took it and went out and interviewed all those people, and the same goes for you. I mean, that must have been, what an opportunity to be sitting down. And did it really come from the wrong jacket?
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because the story is a parable that I tell real life stories of real life meeting people. Yep. And, you know, there's only 3 characters that were made up. Well, they're composite, I guess, or everyone. Glenn was a composite of all my mentors, but mainly Charlie Tremendous Jones, who was 6'5", 6', a giant guy. And every time I'd see him, he'd try to give me these jackets, and I'd swim in. I'm like, "Oh, Charlie, this thing ain't gonna work for me." So that's how it would be. Mia was a composite of my major relationships, and David, who's suffering from addiction, is myself. I'm 32 years sober, and some of the people that have and gone through the trials and tribulations of, you know, the program. So it's really an interesting journey, needless to say. But the main point, I think, of all 3 Feet from Gold is surround yourself with people you have respect for, not people you have influence over. It's seeking counsel, not opinion. Opinions based on ignorance, lack of knowledge, inner experience, where counsel's based on wisdom, knowledge, and mentorship. If you go to a family friend and say you're going to write a best-selling book, they might try to talk you out of it, and they've never written a best-selling book. But if you go to Mark Johnson, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, he's going to say, "Sit down. Here's what you need to know," and give you counsel based on wisdom and mentorship. If we would spend our activity only seeking counsel and ignoring opinion, that's the day your life would.
Yeah, and I love it. And I love also, to me, I agree with you so much. But you also want mentors for people who have been there and done that in the fields that you've been in. And also, you never want to be the smartest person in the room. Surround yourself. I was talking with Don Green earlier today, and he had mentioned what he talks about in kind of like, I don't want to say generalities, but when he talks about things like this, it brings up everything that I've learned all along the way about never being the smartest person. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, the color of your eyes, where you're born. You can associate. Who you associate with makes, you know, up the difference. So everything he was talking about like that is like, yeah, surround yourself, you know, with the people. You don't be the smartest person in the room. So all these things are going off in my head as he's talking. And it brings back like getting into a mastermind. I mean, you can't, you know, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room, but you want to be around people who are doing things at higher levels. So because the conversation is different, the questions they ask are different, the associations are just tremendous. You make the right association and you have no idea what doors can be open for you. And so I'm a big fan of masterminds, and I hear you guys are starting a brand new one coming up.
Yeah. So 3 Feet from Gold, when we finished that book, we hired the top agency in the world to create a mastermind, what you would call it, a 18-week module study program. And I call it an action guide. So it actually is action. It's not about thinking and growing rich. It's about the actions to get you there. And so here I've been sitting on this for all these years, for almost a dozen years. And now that we're re-releasing 3 Feet from Gold, we said, hey, why don't we dust that thing off and give people an opportunity to go through it with us in person. So TGR Legacy, tgrlegacy.com, you can go check it out. And for 8 modules, you can join Sharon and I, where we literally walk you through the journey to take you from where you are to where you want to go, based on the time-tested, proven principles of 3 Feet from Gold and Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
I love it. And what people need to do, if I can borrow from one of my mentors, even though he may not know it, is they need to declare, now it's my time. It's my turn. Line in the sand and decide that it's my time, it's my turn, and sign up for this program and this course.
I love it. It's so funny because Sharon and I are the least like salesy people, and yet we're so excited about this. We want everyone to join us, but it's not like our thing to go, oh, come, how great we are. It's not what it's about. It's about you. It's about your journey, your destination. We would like to be your Sherpa. We want to be your guide. I mean, what would you rather have if you're lost in the woods? A map or a guide? A guide, because they know exactly the blueprint. Sharon and I are acting literally as your Sherpa, as your guide through this journey, because I can tell you right now, everything we're going through, this too shall pass. And when it does, you better be armed with the information, knowledge, financial literacy to really get going in a big way. So we started this at tgrlegacy.com. Go check it out and join us. We invite you, but we really suggest you do something about it. Like, what was his name? Our favorite speaker, Les Brown. You got to be hungry. And he says, fill your own cup first, and then feed the world with flows over. Get selfish. You've been for your family and friends. This program is for you.
I love it. And you're right. I mean, with you and Sharon at the helm, teaching people the time-tested, proven methods, I mean, it's really an investment in yourself, but everybody, personally, professionally, all the people around you are going to benefit from it, because you're going to be a better person. And whatever you're doing, bringing to the world, whatever service or value, we're all here to serve on one capacity or another. This will help people, I think, just serve at a higher level. So I'm a big fan of it. I'll be going there.
I love hanging out with Sharon Lecter. Your life's gonna, it's just like my life's value.
Yep. You froze. The internet's been giving us some trouble. I don't know if you can. Yikes. You're totally frozen. I don't know if you can hear me. You there, Greg? Everybody, right now we're having a little tiny internet problem. I'm assuming it's going. Oh, did we lose you, Greg? Hopefully Greg's going to try to pop back on. I don't know what's going on with the internet. I don't know if it's his side or my side, but I do know at the end of my last interview earlier, it just froze on me. So hopefully Greg will jump back in. And but anyhow, so he has this book called 3 Feet from Gold that he's written. He's written Stickability. He's been in over 100 different books, as we mentioned earlier, right? 45 different languages. So I would definitely, if you're not familiar who Greg Reid is, I would definitely check him out. And he has this once a year, he does this group called Secret Knock, and you really, it's not about money. It does cost you to get there, but you have to be invited. So you can't just buy a ticket and walk in, right? Because it's about having the right mindset and the right mentality. Here we go. Ta-da! You back?
Hey, what's the coolest thing you and I are talking about off camera is the power of be cool.
Exactly.
Right? And it's so funny. At Secret Knock, all of our stuff, the fact of the matter is things happen and life happens. It's not tripping out over the small little. So it looks like we just had a little cable connection, but we're back.
Nice. And while we were gone, I was actually talking about your secret knock. And I was saying that, you know, even though you have to pay to get in there, it's not about money because you have to be invited to be there. So, I mean, you can't just buy a ticket and walk in, but it's about having that right mindset and surrounding yourself with people who have a similar mindset. And right as you popped in, I was just about to say, and you got to be cool. But then, yeah, you came back.
You got to be cool. I want to finish this thought about Sharon Lecter. One of the cool thing about that big table. So, you know, Robert, he sat around there when they were creating Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yep. Laurel Langmeyer, when they were creating her program, she sat there and did Cash Flow, you know, the board game that everyone knows about. 3 Feet from Gold, Think and Grow Rich for Women, Outwitting the Devil. All the projects that came from this are mind-boggling. And what we're going to do is this 18-week program where we walk people through the 3 Feet action guide. When it's done, we all come together in person at either her estate or my estate, where you get direct access to touch and feel all these things that we've been talking about. Wow. It's really monumental. Yeah.
Nice. Good for you. And maybe another level will be get to go to both.
There you go. Hey, I want to share one of the messages from 3 Feet from Gold, because we were talking about it and you sparked one of my ideas. And John Hope Bryant, the guy who created a great nonprofit, said something really powerful. And I think he borrowed it from someone, but it said, the secret of success is going from setback to setback or to failure without the loss of enthusiasm. Yep. And that always sat with me, because so many people, you know, there's 10 things going on in our life. 8 of them rock, 1 of them and 1 of them suck. But we only focus on the sucky one. Yep. And what we need to do is pat ourselves on the back for the 8 things that are going well, because it tells the universe that we appreciate and have gratitude for all these good things, and it tends to give us more of that. But if we focus on the negative, then unfortunately the world tends to give us more of that, because that's how the law of attraction truly works.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because even if that one thing, but now your energy is negative, because your mind, you're focusing on that, and that's the energy you're giving off. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's focus on the wins, not so much on the losses, because everybody, you know, in Jim Rohn, like he says, it's not so much what happens to you, but it's what you do with it, because pretty much what happens to all of us, you know, maybe different time, different place, different person, right? But you know, the feelings. So it's really what you do with it. But I love it. So can you tell us a little bit more about Secret Knock or anything else that's going on? I mean, this is such, you know, you're such a you know, a mentor to so many people. You've accomplished so much in life. To have you here today, I would love for you to just talk to us a little bit more about what you want to talk about. But if I can, one more thing on 3 Feet from Gold. I don't want to, you know, dominate the whole thing on 3 Feet from Gold, unless, you know, that's okay with you. But there was one section in there where the jockey sat down next to you, and you had the list of your passions, and you had the list of your talents, and you know, you were going through it, and everything was you know, but sometimes, I don't want to say we're our own worst enemies, but just sometimes we can't see clearly what other people can see just at a glance, and stepping outside ourselves. And, you know, it goes back to getting a mentor, I guess, right?
Yeah. Surrounding ourselves with people that we have respect for, not people that have influence over, and then asking for guidance and perspective. And then here's the ultimate thing. You honor those mentors by going through and taking action. Back to Les Brown. I remember when I wanted to be a speaker, I found him at an event and said, Les, give me one nugget, something I could do different. And he did. I hunted him down a month later, said, Mr. Brown, I met you a month ago. Asked for a nugget. You gave it to me. I applied it. What should I do next? His jaw dropped. Like, what? Someone actually did what I said? And the chance of him giving me the second nugget was 100%, because you honored your mentors. That is the key principle towards this. You want access to amazing people. The truth is this. It's this simple. Specificity. That's it. Look, I don't want my brain picked. I don't want to go to dinner with you. I don't want to go to lunch. I don't know who you are. But if you can give me specificity, I promise you'll get time. It works like this. I remember when I wanted to get to the guy who started, what was it, Chick-fil-A, or the person who started NASCAR. I'd say, listen, all I need is 12.5 minutes of your time. I'll cover all my own expenses that come to you. By the time I open the door till the time I leave will be 12 and a half minutes. I'm going to ask you one simple question: why you didn't quit 3 Feet from Gold. That's it. The chance of them doing that is so high because they know what to expect the whole bed. And then once you're there, if you build a rapport relationship going, but in 12 and a half minutes, your alarm better go off where you say, I'm going to honor my word. I'm out the door. And they'll usually say, no, stick around or what have you. But that is the key to get this access. So make sure that we surround ourselves with people we have respect for, not people we have influence over. Okay. Now you asked me to share something. So I want to one nugget about the CPC. Can I do that?
Absolutely. Please.
So I did this book called Wealth Made Easy a couple years ago. And we went around the world and interviewed these people worth like $100 million. And the greatest nugget I got, believe it or not, wasn't from a billionaire. It was from one of my dear friends, Mark Anthony Bates. And he said he's something called CPC. It's an acronym that stands for clues, patterns, choices. And this changed my paradigm, how I look at things. It's about accountability and responsibility for every single thing that happens. Stop blaming other people. So if I go out on a first date, I'm a single guy, and she's 20 minutes late, that's a little flag. That's a clue. If I go on the third, fourth, and fifth date, every time she's 20 minutes late, it forms the P, a pattern. Now it's my C, choice, whether I deal with it, yell at her, break up with her, but it's not her fault. She's just late. Stop trying to change people and make them fit into the box you want to live. How many times have we seen someone in business with a bad reputation, they cheat your best friend, you do business thinking it'll be different, and when things go awry, you're mad at the person. It's like seeing a rattlesnake rattle, bite your kid, you go to pet it, get bit, and you're mad at the snake. Suck it up and having clues, patterns, choices. And the most successful people, they look and witness these clues, and then they see a pattern as fast as humanly possible so they can make their choice whether they're going to stay with it or quick.
I love it. That's excellent advice. And that came from a good friend of yours. And I remember when you did that too. That was like only like 2 or 3 years ago. And you had offered to take people around with you too. Kind of wish I went with you now, what I mean, because now I get to see and hear all these different things. I wonder what it would have been like to be there personally. If somebody was starting business now, they were either getting into business or they're already in business. Is there 3 pieces of advice? I mean, and it might be stuff we've already covered, but is there 3 pieces of advice you could give somebody right now, sort of like what you did with Les Brown? They've got to take the action. They got to be accountable. They've got to, just follow through. But,
yes. So first of all, people are the most accessible than they ever have been before. So if someone was a CEO of a company or you had to go through all kinds of stuff to get to that corporation. Today, they're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on TikTok, they're on whatever. So the whole thing is to literally just start reaching out. If people would spend 30 minutes a day and have a hit list of the people they really wanted to reach out to and had specificity in their request and send it out to all the people they want to meet, you'd be shocked. Yes, Ron, let me ask a question. Are you shocked and amazed how many people you reach out to be on your show and they get back to you right away?
I couldn't believe it. Don Green got back to me in minutes. I am amazed. Yes. and you with others like this.
That's the way it is. And people understand that both successful people are also the malleable people. If you're brand new at something, you're happy-go-lucky, you're fresh, you're cool. Top of the field, happy-go-lucky, nothing to prove. In the middle, pain in the neck. You're filled with ego. You're edging God out. Jump to the front of the line. It's so funny. I mean, the secret of all prosperity is to people with specificity, and your life will change accordingly. So for example, if you sat there and said, okay, I want to research science and I want to talk to astronauts, what you do is you find the people that are accounts on Instagram that are astronauts. And what you do is you have a specific ask and say, listen, I've always been fascinated with science. I humbly ask your 5.5 minute time. I just want to sit with you real quick on the phone. I promise.
You froze again, brother. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but you froze. Greg's talking to us right now. He's telling us about having specificity. So what he's basically telling us is that, people are very accessible to us, and in the morning or sometime take 30 minutes a day and reach out, DM people, whether it's in your Instagram or it's Twitter. I know once I had a problem with my Gmail account, and because Gmail is free, they're saying that they would never. Okay, here you go. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I've been hearing you the whole time.
Okay, cool. I was just going to give an example about how I use Gmail and got right through. I sent stuff right to the president, Sergey and them, right? And they were like, well, I did because my Gmail wasn't working. And they said, well, Gmail is free, so we have no support for it. I says, well, listen, how can I get back in? And I says, but I said, okay, but I pay for my Google Drive. And they said, there it was. And they said, no problem. Bang, my stuff was fixed the next day. But geez, you're gone again. It looks like I should have let you talk. All right, but you're frozen again. But if I'm still live, so I don't know if it's my end or your end because my ticker's still going. But anyhow, I love how he's talking about having a being specific in your requests, and that 12.5 minutes, and then honoring it and literally getting ready to leave. And then, if you've built that rapport, they'll ask you to stay. But being specific in your requests, because you're right, people are busy, they have things they have to do. But just like in his book that I've read, is sometimes the most successful people are the ones who are most accessible. It just depends upon how you approach them. And so it looks like Greg left. Hopefully he'll pop back on. And I don't know what's going on with the internet, but such a great opportunity to listen to such a great man. Now, like I said, he is doing a mastermind program. He's starting a new one with Sharon Lecter. It's a great opportunity. Reach out to him. You can certainly find him on all the various social media channels. Greg Reid, GREGREID. But what I did notice is that it's under Dr. Greg Reid. So check that out. So if he doesn't pop back on in a minute or so, I'm just going to close out this live. And what a great opportunity to hear from some amazing people today, even though we had some internet issues. And what I'll do is I'll ask him about those 3 tips and just have him write me. And in the descriptions, I'm going to put the tips.
I think that's the universe saying we're about wrapping this one up, huh?
I have no clue because it's mine still going live. So I don't know if it's my end, your end, or the wildfires in California.
It is what it is. By the way, the bottom line is thank you for shining the light on Sharon Lecter, on the legacy, on John Shin, all the people that are making a positive, including yourself. I appreciate having you as a buddy, man.
I appreciate you as well. Now, you want to try giving that last tip again? And if we go out, we'll cancel it at that point.
Absolutely. So the whole is specificity. If you want to reach somebody, like I was saying, an astronaut, get a hit list of all the astronauts and all their different, channels that they have on Instagram and Twitter or whatever, and start reaching out and say, I need 5.5 minutes of your time. I'm a science geek. I want to just ask you one simple question on a phone call.
And chances are they'll follow through with it.
Spend 30 minutes a day. There it is. And that's the way it works. And I can see I'm already rotating. Love you. Mean it. I'll see you later, amigo.
Great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. All right, everybody. We did have a couple of technical difficulties, but if you stayed through it and you listened and you go back, it's amazing to listen and learn from people who have been there and done that. And I guess some of the major takeaways is don't give up, seek counsel, don't seek advice, surround yourself with people working at levels higher than yourself, however you have to. If you have to go to a group, if you have to go to an event, pay up, show up, to blow up, whatever phrases you want to pay attention to. But remember, everybody else in that room also paid. So, it's a different caliber. So if you go to a meetup down the street and then they're good too, but they're giving away free pizza and bottles of water, it's a different type of person than somebody, business wise. All humans are valuable, but business wise, if you're paying $1,000 or $2,000, when you go to an event or you go to a seminar or something, you're at a different level in business. And if you can surround yourself with these type of people, even if you're not at that level, but you you get there, you put it on a credit card, whatever it takes, and you just go there and you listen and you learn and you serve. Don't sell. Don't go in that room and try to sell somebody something. Go in that room and talk to people, listen to them, ask questions, and if you do something, sometimes do stuff for people totally for free, just to show what you can do, and then they like what you do, and then they tell their friends. So it's an investment of your time. But serve, don't sell. And so anyhow, Greg Reid's an awesome guy. I've known him for years. He's a great person, both personally and professionally. Check him out, and definitely find out about that mastermind that him and Sharon Lecter are doing. And I'll see you in a little bit with John Shin. Bye for now.